Welcome back to Matter of Facts Podcast. I'm Phil, Nick's here, and Andrew is neither auditioning to be a lawyer, he hasn't joined a cult, he hasn't become a DNC staffer. He's actually here with us today here on Carp Lake in Michigan. Say hi, Andrew.
Hi.
Say hi, Nick.
Hello.
So now y'all can all finally stop pestering me about what has happened to Andrew, because he's still here.
We have signs of life.
Until I disappear for another month.
Acceptable. You're a busy man nowadays.
Yeah, life is busy.
Excellent.
But good, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, life is good. It's busy. Working second shift, only get 1 or 2 Thursdays off a night, or a week, or a month rather, and that kind of limits my availability.
Got to use some of those for sleeping now and then.
Well, and then it's just on top of that, it's just life, just busy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's the cool part about doing this out here for MOF summer camp, because he is off of work, which means he has no excuse not to arrive.
That's true. He is physically in person here, so we can drag him to the microphone if necessary.
And
I should have stayed sitting at the fire and just called in.
okay, but
We could have dragged a cord over to you.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I do have a whole gaggle of witnesses here that can say I didn't zip tie him, so he's here of his own volition.
That's true. He is not tied to the bench.
There's a bottle opener when you open it on the sides of it.
So for
All
the
you're gonna hear
audience,
is Josh.
That's
all
all
you're
right.
gonna hear.
But for the audience that didn't make it out to MOF summer camp this year, like, we were in Michigan, and it has been, for me at least, it's been like being on Mars. Like, it's okay, but it's June. It is June 25th.
It's true.
It's
Like 73 degrees.
8 o'clock in the evening. You can actually stand outside without bursting into flames. That's unusual.
I mean, the first couple days were hot. You guys came, your first couple days here were during a heat wave that we were getting hit with.
Yeah, it was almost 90 on Monday.
Well, I mean, actually, Sunday, I think it was a heat index of like 100 and something.
Whoops.
Monday was 94 or something like that. But the rest of the week is supposed to be in the 70s, nice and cool. I actually slept under a flannel sheet last night in my tent, just because it got down to like the low 50s. So, but no, it's been good weather. A little bit of rain, I think we're calling for, but it's been good.
Yeah, well, a Michigan heat wave is what my daughter describes as springtime in Louisiana. So, like, we're loving the cooler weather. But we have to talk the audience through, like, what they've missed so that they become jealous bastards and hate the fact that they weren't here.
Let's see. What was it? Let's see. Mackinac Island.
Mackinac Island was,
Ferry full of dogs.
yeah, very full of dogs. I don't think anyone caught hypothermia on the top deck of that boat, but going across the lake, it was
Damn near lost my Stetson.
it was very, very chilly. My daughter was holding on to her beanie the entire way across. I was sitting on my hat.
Mm-hmm.
But Mackinac Island was amazing. Like, so in full disclosure, like, the last time I was in Michigan, I was like 8 years old, and we drove through it on our way to Canada. So I've never seen these sites.
Right.
And the only connection we have to Mackinac Island is that, my wife has some family that lived on the island years and years and decades ago. So we had only stories of what to expect. Although I have to admit that as the ferry pulled in, and we saw the horse-drawn carriage that was like downloading stuff to bring to all the stores and everything, that was when I was like, okay, this is unusual.
Yeah, it is official back in time. The FedEx UPS, 'tis a horse-drawn carriage. One horse, easily enough.
I saw one person on a rickshaw.
Really?
Yes.
I did
And-
not see the rickshaw.
And another person that had a bicycle with a very large basket in the front of it.
There were a lot of bicycle-mounted baskets. A bunch of the e-bikes, too, which...
Yeah, it was something I noticed was that, like, I mean, so in the name of full disclosure, like Mackinac Island, you walk or you eat or you bike. Those are your only two modes of transportation, or you horse, you take a horse.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, they had. We saw some people horseback riding.
Oh, yeah, there was a
so
couple
there was
on
some.
there, yeah.
There was, and there is a full-on horseback riding company or business there, but horse-drawn carriage. We saw a bunch of people loaded up on those.
Yep.
Bicyclists, people walking. I mean, it was interesting watching people walking down the middle of the road. You don't think about it until you almost get hit by a bike, but you would walk across, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna look for cars, because your mind is trained. You see a road, you're gonna
We
look for
did
cars.
have to pull Gillian out of the way of several horse-drawn carriages.
Yes.
And
I wasn't the only one.
You are here if you want to comment.
but no, I mean, there was a couple times where bicyclists, and I hate bicyclists with a passion, but there was a couple times where bicyclists were yelling at people to get out of the road as they were coming down the road, and I was hoping that someone would throw something in their spokes, but that did not happen, unfortunately.
It did not. We did not unseat any bicyclists.
But yeah, no, I mean, it was interesting. I mean, to my memory, I mean, I've lived in Michigan my entire life, and I've never, well, I can't say my entire life. I was born in Arizona, but growing up in Michigan, I've never been to the island that I can recall, and it's one of those things where I just never had I've never wanted to go to the island, so this was a good excuse.
But you're gonna take your girlfriend now.
Yeah, I'm sure one of these days we'll go.
I mean, I've met the young
Wait.
lady, and she's.
Go ahead. Go
Well,
ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I imagine she would love it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'd like to go to the island again, maybe with her, but I have no other urge to go. Again,
I have a picture of when we first got on the island. No one could find Andrew, and then finally we hear, oh, he's found a bar. It's 8 o'clock in the morning.
So, for backstory,
There's
So-
always context.
so we just got off the ferry. I mean, it's chilly. We just crossed Lake Michigan. Well, actually, Lake Huron. You know, so we crossed Lake Huron in a ferry. We're all kind of chilly. I'm wearing shorts, flip flops, and a short sleeve shirt, and everybody else, you know. So everybody's like, "Let's get coffee." Well, they find a coffee shop, and they're lined up at the coffee shop, and I'm like, "I don't want coffee. I kind of want something stronger." So nothing is open. As I keep walking, I find it's this, was it Seabiscuit Tavern, I think it's called. And,
Yeah.
and I walked in, and the guy goes, "What can I help you with?" I go, "Can you make an old fashioned?" And he goes, "It's 8 o'clock in the morning." I said,
Exactly. I need old fashioned.
and he goes, "I can make that." And I go, "That's perfect because I need to warm up." So I had an old fashioned, and he said that I was his very first old fashioned at that early in the morning. I don't know who's been visiting the island, but apparently not professionals. But
That's what we do. We set records.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, and then as they passed, I cheersed them, the group, as they passed by, and then I cashed out because I said, "Well, I gotta catch my group." And so, but yes, I had an old fashioned at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I'm sorry. I just, ratted you out
You have to introduce yourself to the audience.
because nobody knows me anymore.
Well, for anybody that doesn't, I mean, in the name of posterity, there's procedure to be honored here.
Okay.
This
Hi.
is Matter of Facts.
My name is Gillian. What do you want me to say?
Also known as Mom.
Mom, Mrs. Matter of Facts. I don't know, whatever you want to call me.
My handler.
Sure.
Yes.
Co-host of what podcast?
Co-host of the
Raising
paused
Values.
Raising Values.
Which we are actively guilt tripping
Yeah.
as we speak.
It will make a comeback soon. One day.
It will make a comeback soon. Y'all, yeah, there's been some discussions while we've been here. And it's really weird too because Stuart actually texted me a few days ago about getting the podcast back up and going again, or just even like making a episode of, hey, I'm still here, I'm still alive, this is what's been going on. But I won't hijack Matter of Facts. But yeah, I think I'll get there. A lot has been going on, so I definitely have some stuff to talk about. I just have to get in the right headspace to talk about it.
No, that's fair, but people have been asking about raising values, and the peer pressure will continue until we get what we want.
Well, and to be fair, when we went off air in January, I think it was around January, or maybe it was even December, when we went off air in December, I guess I could say, there's been so much that's been going on for the last 2 years in my life that it's just, it feels like it's been one thing after another. And so, yeah, I was able to get my head above water with this trip, and I'm really glad for that.
Well, that's the important thing about trips like this.
You have to speak into the mic.
That's the important thing about trips like this, is we can get to meet our people, like Phil and Gillian have said before. Like, we got one of our new patrons here, Kyle. Hi.
So Kyle, for the patrons in the Signal chat, is actually Victoria, who's his better half, who I think he appointed to be his point of contact,
I
spokesperson.
am terrible at group chats.
Yeah. Well,
As we all are, right, Andrew?
so as I was saying earlier, I think right before we started recording, I'm like, this is like Fight Club. If it's
It
your
is.
first time at summer camp, you have to come on the mic. I did offer Kyle to be in witness protection. He declined. So
Or at least he didn't say he wanted witness protection loud enough to hear.
yeah, that could have been it. I mean, I have lost half my hearing, so
It's not service related.
Yeah.
What?
not exactly. So introduce yourself. This is the annual, matter of fact, summer camp roundtable where we talk to.
Yes, Kyle. How disturbing are we as people?
I've seen worse.
Good.
Okay, but
That's a good bar. I'll take that.
But in the name of full disclosure, he was also enlisted for a time, so that may not be setting the bar as high as you might think so.
Oh no, the bar is buried.
Oh, damn.
Fantastic. I love it. So, Kyle, haven't been up here before, right?
Not in the Lower Peninsula, no.
Okay, not in the Lower Peninsula, but
No.
you've been in the UP.
Oh yeah.
Okay, nice.
I can hear the accent.
Oh yeah, don't you know?
don't say there. So, what did you guys see new?
Yeah. Well, we haven't seen Mackinac Island. The bridge and all of that. It was fun driving over that with having a Jeep and all of that. It's basically a big old sail.
Yeah.
Driving across the bridge, you're trying to
Andrew saw his Alex.
We accidentally
not
found his
fall
wife.
off.
Wife.
Fiance.
Fiance. I'm sick of correcting people. We
Y'all-
really should have just eloped while we were up here.
Why didn't you?
I don't
You
know.
have a
There
priest
was,
right here.
There was literally a trailer that said, like, elope to the up.com or something.
saw that.
It's like, we should have stopped.
You know, we come up here with a pastor.
Whoa.
We could have got that done yesterday.
And plenty of witnesses.
Exactly.
None of good repute.
Well,
But I don't think that's required to be a witness.
No.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure my future mother-in-law would kick my butt, and probably Kyle's thoroughly. So, I mean, I'm a little, it's like she's a great mother-in-law, soon to be, but I don't think at that point she would be a great soon-to-be mother-in-law. So,
She'd be displeased, in other words.
yeah, a little bit.
So I've already had this conversation with Kyle, and I ask the same question every time somebody finds their way into our little band of hooligans and miscreants, like, what brought you in? And Kyle told me that he actually stumbled upon us listening to Reloading podcast,
way back in the day, like 5 or 6 years ago.
which means he's been lurking for, 5, 6 years now?
Easily.
I don't know if you should admit that you've been lurking for that
Oh
long.
no, I'll admit it.
To be fair, that's how I bought my way onto the podcast.
Yes, Nick is one of those that went from patron to co-host, and I wouldn't say it's an upgrade. It's kind of I wouldn't call it a lateral transfer.
I believe I'm still technically a patron because I forgot to cancel that.
I mean, my feelings wouldn't be hurt. You kind of do work your way, work for your money at this point.
Call it an investment in the hobby.
So I guess my question to the two of y'all, to Kyle and Victoria, is like, having you listen to the podcast, I don't know.
Here and there. It depends on the episode title. I will say the title really determines it. But, raising values, every one of them.
And now we're all staring again.
I'm so sorry.
The guilt is thick with this group.
Yes!
Peer pressure is effective.
So, I mean, I guess my question is, like, y'all having watched those two shows, did y'all have, like, a preconceived notion of what you were coming into when all of a sudden we start talking about, yeah, we get together in the summer and we vacation together and we just goof around? And was there a preconceived notion, or was it like, these guys seem normal enough that we're not going to get skinned and our skins turned into, like, tents or anything?
To be fair, they did tent a couple of miles away.
But that shows good self-preservation.
Damn well does.
Yeah, they needed a spot to retreat to just in case things got a little too weird. But the fact they're still here means things haven't gotten too weird yet.
We do have another day yet. Or two.
Yes. So what was y'all's, like, what did y'all think y'all were getting into with this?
It's about as much as I expected, where it's basically an extended podcast. It's been listening to the Matter of Facts podcast for a couple of days, and I am not tired of it yet.
There is slightly more bourbon.
Yes.
Ooh, yes.
That's
yes.
the positives that keep you coming back,
Yeah. Well, and I think it's curious to me, like, what y'all's different perspectives were, because, like, on the Matter of Fact side, we talk about some weird stuff, and the Raising Values podcast is a little more wholesome. But, like, I hope we gave y'all the impression that, like, we're kind of a normal group of people that have slightly above average eccentricities. You know, like, for the most part, we're all focused on a lot of the same things. We're worried about our families, worried about taking care of ourselves. We're worried about what's going on in the world around us. We don't want to be buried down in it, but we just want to be aware of things. And I would hope that, I mean, the fact you are here means you're either crazy or we gave enough of the illusion of normalcy to lure you in.
Well, you think they're gonna lie? You think they're gonna like tell you that you're crazy?
Well, I mean, I'm not holding the gun on either one of them, so they're free to speak their mind at this point.
They're gonna tell the truth.
Lying is encouraged if it is in our favor.
You know, it could be both. It could be, you know, we're all quite a little bit crazy and a little bit normal, that it all just kind of balances out.
It is kind of a spectrum of gray, I suppose.
If you're used to crazy, it's normal.
That's fair.
That sounds like a shirt.
If Stuart is listening, which he is, please get a hold of your wife.
No, it's Chris.
Oh, it's Chris?
Chris runs
Chris's
the merch.
wife. My apologies, Stuart. Well, Chris, get a hold of your wife. Let's see if we can get that on a shirt.
Send it
Almost,
to Kyle.
almost certainly that can be arranged. And if this never winds up on a shirt, I know Chris doesn't listen anymore, which I'll harangue him about later.
Well, we can hassle him about that on and off air continually.
We can. So, I know that yesterday y'all came up to the UP with us. Y'all did Mackinac Island, which was, I mean, that, to me at least, that was the perfect mix of stuff. Because, like, for my family, I'm the guy that likes to hike and see the nature. My wife loves to do the shops and the tourist stuff and everything. And, like, my daughter's the one that likes to have the hell scared out of her. So we went into the haunted theater. Gillian has severely injured one of my traps, holding on to me the whole time while her eyes were welded shut.
Piper may have injured a cast member.
So I now know that I have trained my daughter appropriately, because when one of the cast members jumped at her, she turned around and like loaded up a punch, and then immediately apologized upon realizing, oh, I wasn't in danger.
That was not a threat.
Yeah. I was not being threatened. Maybe that was a little over the top. But she did lash out, which I'm proud of. But so like what was y'all's takeaway from Mackinac Island? Y'all have never been there. I've never been there. And like, what was your impression? Because I know when we got off the boat, we were all just kind of standing there with our mouths open, like, this is like Mars.
They're loading packages onto horse carriages. Yeah. It's weird. It was a little bit of a transition time. Like, I know that there are no motorized vehicles, but look, there's horses.
Yeah, that was exactly it. It was like, you knew there's no motorized vehicles, but to actually see it and be like, oh, they're actually putting everything on carts with horses, even the food service things for the restaurants. And
The dogs' reactions, though, were priceless. Big, powerful Belgian Malinois cowering at the feet of a giant horse.
Then the little wiener dogs, they're like, let me at him, let me at him, let me at him.
Absolutely.
Yes, the two wieners on the trip have no concept of their actual size.
Yes, but they are very enthusiastic.
So, I mean, I like the hike I don't feel like was much of a challenge for the two of y'all.
No,
Y'all were charging up those mountains. Yep. Some of us, you know, had to kind of like shift into a low gear and chug up the hill a little bit.
To be fair, 10 flights of stairs in a row is excessive.
Okay, if my watch is to be believed, we climbed 17 flights of stairs.
mine agrees.
Which is about 16 and a half more flights of stairs than I climb in an average day living in the flatlands. But yeah, I mean, it's so I know y'all saw Mackinac Island, and then today y'all figured y'all need a little disconnect from the crazies. So what did y'all do today?
It's very simple. Wake up at 10 and eventually make some pancakes. And I think we finally had pancakes all squared away with everything out at like noon. So technically it was brunch.
Like a story we haven't heard yet.
Now, to be fair, pancakes are a fine meal any time of day.
That is fair. Yep. Had some pancakes and some summer shanties, so guess that's close enough to a mimosa.
Wait a second, time out.
Breakfast of champions.
What's a summer shanty?
Oh, that's a Leinenkugels, don't you know?
No, I don't know what a Leinenkugels is either.
Don't you see his hat? I mean, come on. If you have a hat, you better believe that's what he's
That
drinking.
is my favorite brewery.
Okay.
Phil, my second favorite brewery. I don't even live in Wisconsin.
Now you just ruined the witness protection. Thank you, Nick.
Now they know.
Now
well,
they know.
they hear Leinenkugels. Either they don't know or they know Wisconsin. You guys, you outed yourselves.
Shoot. I think they figured it out by now.
Yeah, they know by my accent.
Well, it's either that or you're a Youper.
Yeah.
One of the two.
So you just kind of.
Paper is more than a
Yep.
rock.
Yeah, that's what you call somebody from the UP, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. They're all Youpers. So when
But
you
I
see,
guess I did find Youpers.
yep, yeah.
Aw.
Gillian is still looking for Uper rocks. That might be what we do tomorrow.
So they're
Gillian
called-
is not allowed to shine black lights at this table.
Is there a story there? Like,
Well, you see, the black lights is how you find the Youper rocks.
yep.
It gives you that nice little orangey green phosphorescence on the layers of the rocks.
It's also how you find bodily fluids.
accurate.
I'm only allowed to shine it on the ground where the sand and the water meet.
Definitely not in the cabin.
And now my intrusive thoughts are just going a mile a
But now I
minute.
have this light that just needs to be shined on things. I even have it in my back pocket. But yeah, see? Oh, I'm shining it on. Look at that. Isn't that pretty?
The table appears to be a Youper.
So should we shine that in the cabin? Or do you want to
No,
know?
You do not want to know.
no, we're not shining it on the,
You know,
in the cabin.
the couch, the table,
Only where
the
the
beds,
water meets the sand.
the beds, the couch, the
No.
table.
No.
Moving on.
See, now you're making all of us have intrusive thoughts.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm here for.
No.
It's like we tell Phil all the time in the Signal chat. He is personally responsible for all of the degeneracy.
So yeah, I did have a moment the other day where I was sitting around, and I even told Gillian this, like, not, you know, this podcast started 9 years ago. In this coming August, make 9 years. And 9 years ago, I literally Googled, how do you start a podcast? If that shows just how little I knew about how to do any of this. And I had no earthly idea it would lead to, like, what are we up to, babe? 25, 30 people that are here?
This year is 25.
So we've got 25 campers out here from most of, like, from the middle of the country to the east.
We are lacking California. So if you're there, let us know.
Well, we do have a former Californian who we might be convinced to come on, but I mean, you think about it. We've got Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia, Louisiana, Alabama,
Mississippi.
Mississippi.
But she's not here this
She's not here this year.
Kentucky.
Illinois by protest.
Illinois by protest. But you are only an Illinoisan?
Yep.
Illinois?
Illinois for sure with the governor.
It's gosh darn fib, I tell you.
But that's only until we find a way to convince Rachel it's time to move, and then...
See, the trouble is,
Cue
my
Rachel.
wife has family in the state, and she keeps telling me that I'm not allowed to move her
We're
3 or
gonna,
4 hours north.
we're going to keep working on her.
No, we're not.
But there's really nice people on the Gulf Coast.
That's too hot. The Gulf Coast is too hot.
Well, the real trouble is not the heat. It's the mosquitoes larger than our dog. We like the dog, we don't want them carried off.
They don't get, see, that's why you feed the dog well enough and the mosquitoes won't carry it off.
the trouble is the vet keeps yelling at her that the dog's too damn fat because I feed it cheese to get scratches.
But if you have a Louisiana vet, they encourage you to overfeed the dog so the mosquitoes can't carry them away. See, you don't need to change the diet, you just change the vet.
So we got to change the vet. We got to move 1,250 miles.
It's not 1,250 miles.
And I have to completely change career fields.
No, you don't.
I mean, there's the oil fields there. I can definitely do some machining on that.
There's machining shops all over the Gulf Coast. You just
Yes, but will they let me cut Glock receivers and Glock slides on my 4th axis on Saturday?
On the Gulf Coast in Louisiana in the Sportsman's Paradise where we have constitutional carry,
Probably accurate, yes.
you will probably get requests from coworkers.
I already do.
No, from coworkers at your new place of business down south.
Well, I suppose that is fair. But, see, the trouble is my wife likes snow.
I love snow, and we're not moving that far south.
Phil does believe she is actively insane.
So,
Didn't they just get snow?
we did
yeah.
just get 9 inches of snow,
I know, but that's a rare occasion.
which is why I continue to live in Louisiana.
No, I want the snow.
It is awful hard to snowshoe on sandy beaches.
Not impossible, though.
No, you can wear snowshoes on sandy beaches, but the trouble is the heat.
You know what, though? I just had an interesting thought. I wonder how snowshoes work in the swamp.
I would imagine mosquitoes and alligators will make them moot.
The alligators are only a problem if you make them a problem. I mean, if you ignore them, and they're not hungry, and you're not around their nests, they'll leave you alone.
So you're saying she doesn't need a new purse.
Oh, never mind. You do need a new purse.
No.
So I'm to antagonize the alligators.
No.
You don't have to antagonize the alligators.
I need you.
You just have to present yourself as
No,
target
you
of
need me
opportunity.
not in prison.
Yes, that's correct.
But no, that's easy. Dude, there's a season to hunt the sons of
Then
bitches.
you have to
Well,
move
all right.
away
You
from
just need tags.
Illinois.
That's true. So what you're saying is, hun, we need to move down there during alligator
No.
season so you can get a new purse.
No, what I'm saying is I'm not moving that far south.
Okay,
I'll compromise to Tennessee. That's my compromise.
All right, you guys heard that. I have that recorded.
there's a Solomonian decision here. Y'all can snowbird in Louisiana.
That requires a shitload of money.
Yeah, Phil, are you going to give us some money to do that?
I got a spare room.
Is it on the 2nd floor?
I don't have a 2nd floor or a basement for that matter. Because if I had a basement, it'd be an in-ground, below-ground swimming pool.
Well, what do you do for tornadoes?
Hallway
Play cards with him inside.
So, well, then where do you keep your gun safe?
in the closet.
Not
Where
in
do
the
you keep
basement?
your clothes?
I don't
We don't
have
have
a
a
basement.
basement.
You need a basement, man.
Listen,
We
no,
can't
time
dig
out.
down
time
that
out.
far. Why do you think we bury our dead above ground? Or we don't bury them?
You
Zombies?
Listen, Linda. The water table at my house is 15 feet below the soil.
Well, the water table in Union, which is only 6 miles from me, is 3 feet below.
Yes, but
They
when it
have
rains
basements?
really hard, it's not 15 feet below. It's at the level of the soil.
So what you're saying is 15 feet above.
I mean, not 15 feet, hopefully.
I remember Katrina.
I don't live in New Orleans.
That's probably wise. Except during Mardi Gras.
Oh no, that's when it's the most wise.
I don't know. I hear they have like half-price beers.
If
Nick,
you show them your tits.
Well, there's always half-price beers if your tits are out.
okay, but to be fair, the booze is always cheaper on my back porch, and you don't have to wait in line for the bathroom for an hour.
Okay, the bathroom is fair. I will allow the bathroom.
Like, look, my back porch is the best place for Mardi Gras because I can't convince anybody to walk around with their shirt off for beads.
Do you
I've
have
tried.
the pastries?
The paste.
The
pastries.
pasties.
Yeah, not pasties. The you know,
cake?
king cake. Yeah, that's the
Bruh.
one. The pastries.
Pastries.
You can get.
Oh my god.
You can get king cake from 5 different places in the same day down there, and they're all different.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna eat them all. Clearly.
Yes, clearly.
But you can also get king cake year round.
In Louisiana,
Yes.
mosquitoes the size of my dog.
They're not the size of your dog.
I've only seen one.
You told me they could carry off your child. That's why.
Have you been there before, or are you basing this off of things? Stories
I am
you've heard?
entirely basing this off of my interactions with Phil and his beard.
Okay.
Movie in the 1950s where the mosquitoes attacked. That's what he's basing it off of. It was a black and white movie.
Well, and then there was that. What was it? Arachnophobia.
What about the giant
That one takes
spider
place in
invasion?
Louisiana. Yeah,
Dude.
arachnophobia.
No, the giant spider invasion's from Wisconsin.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the giant Wisconsin spiders.
That was over by Gleason, I do believe.
That's just wolf spiders, though. That's standard backwoods bathroom.
Oh
Okay.
no, these came from space.
Okay, now, in the name of full disclosure, I do have to admit, there are black widows and brown widows down where we live.
But are there wolf spiders the size of the top of this cup?
No, maybe the bottom of the cup.
Bottom of the cup?
The wolf
Bottom
spiders.
of the cup is allowed.
Look, the wolf spiders are cool though because they eat all the things that aggravate me.
Now there's
Most of the other
huntsmen's
spiders.
the size of that cup.
I believe that.
Yes.
What's a huntsman?
It's just a different type of spider. It's also fuzzy and, hairy.
Is it fairly venomous?
No.
So you can pet
The
it.
wolf spiders aren't even that. The wolf spider's venom's not toxic to humans.
Are they ill-tempered?
No. I will pick them up.
They don't have laser beams on their head?
No.
Actually, wolf
Gillian,
spiders.
have you not seen Austin Powers?
Freaking
Well,
laser beams, man.
You're talking to the
sharks with frickin'
entomologist
laser
who went
beams on their
total
head.
nerd on you. So no. But when
So,
you shine
Phil,
a flashlight,
you need to correct her childhood.
No, I've seen it. I just didn't go to that as a
Dude.
reference of what you were going with.
We literally leave the wolf spiders alone in our house because they eat all the things that aggravate me.
No. You need to get your wife to watch Austin Powers.
Oh, she's seen Austin Powers, hasn't she?
Yes.
Okay. thanks.
Enough to quote it?
No.
Well,
That's the problem.
that's
No.
that's less an exposure thing and more an attention span thing. Like,
Fair enough.
things about bugs and nature. She can quote from you. Literally, going anywhere in nature with this woman is annoying because she'll just bust out into Latin all of a sudden.
I mean, the Latin made sense to me.
It makes no sense to me, but she'll literally start pointing at things on the ground and be like, "That's this that, and the other, and you can use that to cure depression," and blah 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 blah. That's what you get living with an herbalist.
You can also use bourbon to cure depression. Temporarily.
Well, I will say that I have never been mad while drinking whiskey.
I've also never been mad on a jet ski. I've also never ridden a jet ski.
Well, I am currently drinking Irish whiskey.
What is
I'm pretty
in
happy.
your cup exactly?
It is a probably quadruple old fashioned.
Without the wash.
I'm pretty sure it's this double oak bourbon.
No, that would be the 100% rye from not our sponsor.
Oh.
Ooh,
But
I
if-
like that brand.
But if Rush Creek would like to sponsor the podcast, you should get in touch with us.
My neighbor is a part owner. I should probably get in touch with him.
Dude. You should get in touch with your neighbor just to have him on the show as a guest.
I mean, I can.
Why haven't you?
Well, because Dave goes to bed at like 6:30.
Why?
He's like 74.
And?
All right, I'll get some bourbon and we'll have Dave.
Okay. I mean, we can adjust
like
the show time
74.
if need be.
Yeah, well,
Look,
you know.
that's 4 hours before the sun actually sets up here.
To be fair, Dave does get up and do all the road plowing, all the road work. He's our road commissioner and local distillery owner.
That makes
The essentials.
perfect sense.
Do not use his primary product on his secondary product.
So wait a second. Now I'm wondering which is his primary, which is his secondary.
Road
See,
salt on the margaritas?
Yes. Do not put road salt on the margaritas. There's a little too much lead in the road salt.
Oh, ooh. I mean, you could do for a while.
I mean, yes, technically.
Maybe then the spiders would have laser beams. You never know.
That's fair. I'll allow it.
Yeah. How did we get on this subject?
I don't know. I was about to say you
Well,
probably
the trouble
should
is,
go back to
the trouble is
trip.
Gillian has not watched Austin Powers enough times to understand a joke quote. So we had to take it to the end.
You
But
know
we
what? I
started
think I'm
with
just
us
going
moving
back
to
to my
Louisiana.
cabin. Yeah,
Which
thank
is still
you.
on the table.
No, it's not on the table. It's off the table.
It was never
But-
on the table.
Okay, but hear me out. Envision this. You could have us as neighbors.
105-degree heat with 1,000% humidity.
Nick, you're not helping.
How big is the yard?
It depends how big of a yard do you want.
At least an acre.
Oh, easy. Go up to Folsom. You're set.
Okay, Folsom. The only bell that rings is Folsom Prison Blues
Dude,
by
no.
Johnny Cash. So I have to assume there's a train nearby. And I'm going to be dealing with drunk Johnny Cash type felons, which, fine, fair enough. Good boys.
I was about to say, Nick, that's an average podcast episode.
You're not wrong.
We're not saying who's a felon.
I mean,
Look, nobody at this
Okay.
table is actively committing felonies
right in this moment that we're willing to acknowledge.
that we have recorded.
Well, but it is worth pointing out that wasn't it Rand Paul that said that like the average American commits like 3 felonies a day without realizing it?
I have not filed any taxes today.
I have not purchased any tax stamps today either.
Also accurate.
Constructive intent is just a theory until it's codified in law.
Look, there are multiple machinists at this table that are all constructive intent embodied.
But there's also, like, you know, a half-crazy coon-ass who's really good at kludging stuff together. Coon-ass engineering is a thing.
I mean, Kunas Engineering plus a trip to Ace Hardware will get you most felonies.
All I'm going to say is, when I wrote American Insurgent all those years ago, there may or may not have been things written in that book that break every part of the NFA simultaneously.
Look, any TM, military training manual, will break some level of the NFA, eventually, taken long enough. What do you think, Andrew?
So we should get back to the trip of Michigan.
Look, Michigan is a pile of felonies waiting to happen. There's an Ace Hardware. I've seen it.
Yeah. I got nothing.
You got nothing? So what you're saying is Ace Hardware is a felony waiting to happen,
Yes.
assuming you're creative enough.
So what was your favorite part of the trip so far, Kyle?
It's basically a whole bunch of walking around, having little conversations with people I've been listening to for years, and actually being able to talk back. Usually it's just been a listen for an hour, and all right, there it is. But now I can actually have background input, and it's fun being able to have full conversations with somebody that you've been listening to talk to for years. It's neat.
I'm never gonna see Victoria's name the same in the chat anymore.
Yeah, because
That's true.
I'm
We
gonna see your- I'm
assumed
gonna
she
see
was the
your
primary
face.
listener.
But I'm gonna be like,
Okay, but we have to be real.
To be fair, her face is prettier.
I got tagged in for the signal chat. He was like, "Well, you pay attention to group chats more than I do. So if I become a patron, will you manage the group chat?"
like you're his PR.
Yeah, I am.
I mean, that's
He's
fine.
got
I mean,
people.
I'm worse. There's times where I'll look at the Patreon chat and I'll be like, 500 messages I've missed. I wonder how far I can go.
To be fair, Andrew's trying to be a responsible adult. We attempt to disrupt
about
that
that.
as much as possible.
although we did learn the cheat code on this trip, if the patrons who are in the signal chat tag Andrew enough times, that kind of like draws him back in.
Stuart, tag him at least 4 times in every one of your lectures.
And then we're going to see the little message that says, Andrew has left the chat.
Yeah,
Probably.
I was
You can add him back.
gonna yeah, but he
my
can delete
number.
the app.
And look, you can delete your number as many times as you want. We'll find the number.
I mean, I could be a complete jerk and just drop his cell phone number in the chat.
Good. Direct link. Andrew, do you want a Stuart lecture direct to your DMs?
No, because I'll change my Google number. I didn't give you guys my real number.
That is clutch. I appreciate that.
One step ahead.
You got to say one step ahead with this bunch.
Absolutely.
So here's the question I love, and it's not a summer camp question. It is a full blown, just straight from the podcast. But like, the podcast has always been centered around this idea of like the prepared lifestyle, and I call it a lifestyle, even though Stuart disagrees. And that's okay. He can be wrong.
On occasion.
Yeah.
Rarely.
He is going to drag me so bad for saying he was wrong. By the way, I'm going to get 6 paragraphs waiting for me as soon as this drops.
The thing is, though, is Stuart's been doing it for so long, since like the 1800s, that it's not a lifestyle to him anymore. It's like just how he grew up because he had to like hunt, and that was his lifestyle from the womb. Was he had to like hit stones together to make fire.
Yeah, Stuart.
So of course it's not his lifestyle.
Stuart may or may not have apprenticed under Colonel Custard. He was the only person to survive the fort.
Very clearly.
Yeah. I mean,
he probably sat there and lectured Custer and was like, no.
Dude, he
might
have been the little drummer boy for George Washington's, cavalry for all we know.
Yeah.
I mean, Sun Tzu had to have a scribe.
Very true, very true. But no, I mean, like, to me, like, preparedness, it's a mindset, it's a lifestyle, because once you develop that lens of looking through things a certain way, it starts to influence all the things you do from that moment forward. It becomes the way I pack, the way I plan my finances, the way I do everything is, what do I do if something goes wrong? So my question to everybody that identifies itself as part of this is like, what was the thing that jumped you in and made you start thinking, looking at the world around you, take the blinders off and be like, wow, things can go really bad sometimes. I'd really like not to be screwed when it happens.
Yeah, well, basically if I go out for like a day walk or anything like that, I'm like, oh crap, I forgot a pen. That would have been nice in this situation. It started off with something like that, something simple that I could have had in my pocket. And then it develops to more and more where you're like, yeah, during this blizzard, the water kind of turned a little rusty. I really don't like that. I'm going to have a couple other, a backup in reserve just in case. And little add-on. It would be nice to have this just in case if this happened. Like if we're walking around and the fiance gets a little hungry, it's nice to have a little Mountain House granola in my backpack.
The real peak move is the biscuits and gravy Mountain House.
Ooh. I do have to say that the beef stroganoff wins out by a hair.
You cannot go wrong with the beef stroganoff.
It's hard to go wrong with Mountain House. I haven't found a bad one yet.
Biscuits and gravy trumps all of you guys.
Biscuits and gravy Mountain House.
I do have to agree with him, though. Like, there have been times I've eaten nothing but biscuits and gravy for like 2 meals a day for 3-4 days straight.
I mean, you do need to cook at least 5 pounds of sausage to get enough fat for gravy.
True.
So you might as well make, 15 biscuits.
Yeah,
30 biscuits.
you have to go in bulk. Yeah, it's cheaper that way.
Otherwise, you're paying twice as much for the sausages and the biscuits.
True. But that's interesting to me because, like, most people that are... Hello, Stella. Sorry, a dog just poked me in the belly.
She's trying her best.
But, like, for me, I guess what's interesting is, like, most people I talk to that are into preparedness, they have, like, one single event that was like, oh, wow, this was really bad. I don't want to do this ever again without preps. And what you're describing is really more of a just... It's like living through life and being minorly inconvenienced enough times that you were like, I don't like to be minorly inconvenienced. I'd like to not deal with that again.
Yeah, it's just a logic progression. If you're like, well, this store only accepts cash, and well, I should have had some cash on me, and then it progresses to, well, I can't get this to the store for 3 days. Well, I should have had more food on me, and it kind of progresses from there.
Well, that makes a lot more sense than my accidental entry to preparedness, which was ending up with a mortgage and realizing this was not a prank show. The bank sold me a house.
I'm pretty sure the first moment any of us became homeowners, we had that moment of, oh, Jesus Christ, like, these freaking fools actually did this.
Yeah, the silly bastards, they handed me the keys with almost no money up front and said, congratulations, here you go. And I'm sitting on the floor with a 12-pack and a buddy of mine who's missing a good chunk of his brain thinking, holy Christ, they think I'm an adult.
And how old were you?
Oh, I don't remember. How old was I, hon?
He was 24.
24, 23, yeah.
24.
23 years old, welcome to adulthood.
Whoops.
So now, can I put your wife on the spot?
Absolutely.
What was your introduction to the preparedness mindset, unless it was him?
It was Nick. It was Nick.
I do believe it was the body armor and a FedEx guy cussing me out over the weight of a package.
Yes, that's correct.
But I guess where I'm going with it is like, so I'm assuming if you've heard me and Gillian's story, you probably had a similar experience where there was a moment where you were like, my husband is nuts.
That's correct. It was more like my boyfriend is nuts.
We were not married. She had a chance to run.
I decided not to.
So obviously you reached a point fairly quickly where you were like, there might be some merit to this. What was that?
I don't think there was any like specific point in time, but it was nice to know like if we had a blizzard or we were stuck in the snow.
It wasn't when it was negative 50 and I could thaw the pipes before being late to work?
Well, yes, but that was very far into our relationship when that happened.
Fair enough.
So for you, it was more of a like, it was that kind of constantly confronting the, oh, we're about to be in trouble, but my boyfriend's got it.
Yeah.
Oh, we're about to be in trouble, and my boyfriend's got it.
Yeah, it was knowing that I was going to be safe no matter what happened.
I try.
High five.
It does not hurt to have an absolutely asinine pile of ordnance.
She's nodding her head, so she's not disputing that it's an asinine amount of ordnance.
I bought 40,000 rounds of 22 LR, and she damn near shot through half of it.
That's correct. I love that gun.
Turns out Beretta Neos are a fantastic new shooter piece.
All right, so now for Kyle's better half, are you in witness protection, first of all? Can we use your first name?
I can neither confirm. Yes, you can use my first name.
We don't have to
Victor.
call a willow or a branch.
We don't, yeah.
Oh, man, I could have actually lied about my name this whole time. I could have, like, just been somebody else.
There is a maple
Miss
right
Chance. But then everybody would call you Syrup, so I don't think that would be cool.
there. Accurate.
So, you know, like, I'm assuming that his way of thinking eventually buried itself into your head, or were you kind of already in that mode of thought, and then you two got together and it just kind of like melded together because you were already in that mode of thought?
No, actually, it was kind of like I didn't really know when we first got together that he was more into the preparedness side. Like, you know, I kind of echo it. It was like, oh, I never was somebody who was very like aware of my surroundings or like really had a backup plan. It was like, I buy what I need when I need it. That was very much my mentality.
To be fair, that's kind of bred into the American public nowadays.
Yeah, short-sighted, not really thinking about what's next. And then kind of like, I can't even remember, I think I saw his basement.
The basement is the premier place to hide your swag, people.
But
that's why Phil needs to move north and get a basement.
Okay, but the basement can also be the place for the pleasure room, which some of us call the gun safe. Sometimes it has other connotations.
Look, a panic room is not you should panic and go to the room. It's you're in the room and the intruder should panic.
That's fair.
Yeah, but if you put the gun safe in the basement and you're probably on the first level or the second level, so it's going to take you a while to get down there.
Do you only have one gun safe?
I was about to say, that's just an invitation for more gun safes.
Look, you can put a gun safe in every room if you're clever enough.
And if you're strong enough.
Yeah, it's like, how are you going to get it down
Stairs
there?
are a factor.
And so right now it's a rental, so you got to think about you have to move everything out.
Easy button. We'll talk after the show.
Oh yeah, we've got some safes that are pretty easy to get down into a basement.
Don't tempt him, you know, like you got to wait till after the wedding.
We are temptation incarnate. Phil has been haranguing my wife about letting me buy night vision goggles the entire time we've been here. Fortunately for her, it has been cloudy.
I'm going to go get it as soon as it gets dark.
It looks pretty cloudy tonight, Phil.
No. It doesn't matter.
Hun,
I'm going to go get it.
See the front door across the lake in pitch black.
I mean, that would be cool.
Okay. So after you do a kitchen and 2 bathrooms, I'm going to have her in the prime position to green light you for night vision.
And a master and a new shed.
But you got to give him some incentives. Like he can get the night vision here and then the helmet somewhere else. You already have a helmet.
I already have the helmet. Thank you, Sugar Daddy Trump.
Okay, so maybe we do a couple intermediate steps and then he gets the night vision device. And then he does some other good things that make you happy.
Look, the COVID stimulus was meant to be spent. I spent it on a ballistic helmet.
I spent it on a Jackery and solar panels.
Win-win either way.
Yes. So, Victoria, like, was there a single, like, aha moment where you were like, wow, crazy boyfriend has a point? Or was it just, did he lure you in a little at a time?
It was definitely the abs.
I haven't seen his abs. I'm a little concerned about you now.
Look, I'm just guessing. Military guy, thin, tall. I'm guessing abs.
Okay, but also military guy and no abs.
To be fair, it has been more than a couple of years since military guy.
Wait, does it count as an ab if it's one large ab?
That is a keg.
Okay.
The abs are hiding.
They're
just
doing a good
underneath.
job of hiding.
You have a cushion on your abs.
Hibernation is a thing.
Well, so you stumble across, somebody's stores and all the things, and you're kind of asking questions. So immediately is this person crazy? Like, do I need to be concerned? So it was a couple of questions like, okay, what's all of that? What's that for? And he kind of explained. He had some early wins too. I mean, so we're big on puns. I don't know if you guys caught on to that, but
Look, puns are the highest form of humor.
yes.
I literally told Victoria yesterday, you need to hurry up and make him a dad because he's got all the jokes.
That is very accurate.
Usually everybody's like, wait, do you guys have kids yet? We're like, no, sorry, we're working on it.
He does need to because, sweet God,
the highest form of flattery.
they are.
But like he pull out flowers. We made a pizza one time. This is a tangent, but he pulls out the bag of flour for making pizza, and he was like, well, I didn't know what kind of flour to get. And I was like, oh, okay. So then he pulls out flowers, a bouquet. And I mean, from there it was like, well, it doesn't matter how crazy he is. He's got the puns.
For
And it's
those who are
romantic.
not chefs, daisies are not an ingredient in a thin crust pizza.
Oh, I'm really glad you clarified that. Actually,
Hey, I gotta help people out that don't know how to cook.
But then, asking questions, and Kyle's great at explaining things and not making me feel stupid because I don't know, or like I'm not, like I didn't know a bunch about guns or anything like that, and very patient, explains the why when I ask questions. So then he explained it and it made sense. It was like, oh, and then plus when he always had a flannel when I'd get cold, or, always had granola or something.
Gentlemen, little key here. If you are dating, have a jacket in your truck, regardless of weather conditions. If you happen to be a groomsman in a wedding, take your goddamn jacket off and put it on one of the bridesmaids. At the very least, you make a good impression.
Is that how he got you?
No, he got me off the internet.
That's true. I got her where I get damn near everything else.
You should probably clarify that more, because I have known people who go to Craigslist to the missed connections. That's very different than like a dating site.
To be fair, Plenty of Fish actually was a legit dating site at the time.
Before it turned into a hookup for weirdos?
Plenty of Fish. I don't know if it even exists anymore. I haven't. Does it still exist?
I don't know. It was 12 years ago.
I mean, to be fair, neither of y'all should know if it's still a thing.
I'm glad you
Hell,
don't.
she watches enough reality TV. She probably has heard of most of them.
No, they don't put him on reality TV.
They don't.
They should though. Okay, this would be a great reality TV show of just like dating site adventures, misadventures, like following somebody. I think that's a new plot
Okay,
twist.
but have you seen the Is It Cake show?
No.
That is amazing.
It is the coolest. I have not actually watched the show. I have been playing
It is
a
vibe.
video game while my wife watches Is It Cake? And sweet God, it's always cake. Every time.
Wait,
I'm
so then
always
is
wrong.
it a question really? Is it
No, because sometimes they guess it wrong and it's not cake, it's a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, the whole premise is you will be presented with something that looks like this, and you're asked, is it cake? And then they try to cut into it
But
and
you're
see if it really is
25
made of
feet
cake
away.
or not.
Is it cake?
I don't know if it's 25 feet away, maybe 5.
No, it's more than that because that
10?
podium is 5 foot tall.
It doesn't matter. The
We
show,
checked,
has,
it is full of calico beans.
the show has given me serious trust issues.
Yes.
So, in other words, he slowly lured you in. It was
Sometimes that is the best way to go.
well, I mean, I have Mrs. Matter of Facts here. She might be able to intone the moment where she bought into the lifestyle, but I can tell you the moment she had serious concerns, like you had concerns. It was when, was it the body armor?
Yes.
So yeah, when the plate carrier and the plate showed up at the front door, apparently she had a conversation with my father about whether or not I should be checked out.
Dad was a good wingman. What can I say?
Dad, okay, my father, to his credit, I still contend to this day, and I'm 42 years old, so I've known the man a long time. He is a prepper. He doesn't want to admit it. He doesn't think he is. He shrugs off the term. Most of the things I learned from him, and then I just turned the dial up past 10 and realized it didn't stop there.
Look, being a prepper is just being ready for adulthood. You rely on yourself and EMS when you absolutely have to.
Yeah. But my dad was the one that literally told her, like, if Phil did this, if he bought it, if he prepped it, if he did this, it's because he thinks it could be necessary. And the only reason he does anything is because he's trying to take care of himself and the people around him. So that talked her off the ledge enough that she didn't report me to the authorities. But, well, I think you and I have talked about this before. Like,
Still an option.
Well,
the authorities will always exist.
To be fair, I'm on every government watch list known to man. So, like, if you want to dime me out, just pick one.
Yeah.
But
what about known to spiders?
But what was your moment? Like, what was the moment at which Mrs. Matterfax became Mrs. Matterfax and not just the crazy guy's wife?
Oh, when you started the podcast, of course.
She's full of it.
That was a lie.
That was bull.
God, I don't know.
See, I have a theory here,
Okay,
but every time
tell me your theory and I'll tell you if you're right.
the Paris attacks.
I don't even remember the Paris attacks.
Okay.
Guy ran a truck through a bunch of people.
I remember it, but like, obviously that wasn't enough for me to think that was my turning point. I don't even think I have a turning point. I just think it was like, oh, okay, I trust my husband enough that he's doing this, so I'm going to get on board with it because we're a team, and obviously having more food stuck in a pantry somewhere is a good idea.
Look, we all like being fed.
Yes.
That's fair enough.
Thank you for looking directly at me when you say that, Nick.
Literally have
I was looking at her.
Dessert bucket.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even think
We
of
have
that.
we have a
There may
baking.
have been.
A baking bucket.
I have a baking bucket.
So
I'm the baker in the family.
on Mackinac Island, they don't sell fudge by the pound. They sell fudge by the slice. They don't tell you how big the slice is going to be. What you do is you buy 4 and you get one free.
Where's this going?
And well, it's only $44, so you might as well buy all the slices.
No. It's 5 slices for $42.
Oh, that's what it is.
If it's $5 more, they'll give you another.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine.
Yeah.
And it stores for 2 to 3 months.
Exactly. And if you throw
Time out.
if
Time
you throw
out.
it in the freezer, it's fine for a year.
I don't believe I've ever known fudge to store for 2 or 3 months.
But question, is this Mackinac fudge or Kilwin's fudge?
So I gotta jump
No.
in here.
Turn that microphone off.
So,
we cannot turn that off.
Oh, Andrew comes back for this.
yeah.
This is important.
So Phil drove how many thousand miles?
1,200 miles.
So Phil drove 1,200 miles, went to Mackinac Island,
and took a ferry.
went all the way to Mackinac Island. No,
and
hush.
slept in a wood cabin with no heat.
So you drove 1,200
No,
miles.
there's heat. There's no AC.
No, there's no heat in mine.
Oh.
So anyway,
Yes.
anyway,
Anyway.
you drove 1,200 miles, took a ferry to an island that it probably is going to be one of the only times that you come here, unless like after Piper's gone.
When
stuff
you
like
get
that.
married, I'll come back.
But yeah, in
That's
February.
fair. We'll come
But-
for your marriage. It's in February?
No, shut up.
Well, your girlfriend might hear this podcast, sir.
No,
You got her
listen to you
number.
guys.
You need to
So
let her
anyway,
know.
Phil is the only guy that I know that drove 1,200 miles, took a ferry to the island that makes its own fudge, and he buys Kilwins that you can buy anywhere.
But wait.
There- no,
wait,
there's no wait. There is
There
no
is a
wait.
wait.
No,
there
there's
is a
not.
wait.
There's
No.
a potential assault.
No,
There's-
if you could have now, I would have been accepting if you would have bought Kilwins and Mackinac, but you've bought 5 pounds of Kilwins.
I bought 5 pounds of Kilwins because I'm trying to manifest
No.
the original
The
Kilwins
pounds is
incident.
irrelevant. There's no pounds in this. It's 5 slices.
Okay,
5
so
bricks, but still, I don't care about some little old lady or anything
listen.
like that.
3
It's-
years ago,
you
I
drove
almost got
1,200
assaulted by a
miles.
little old lady over a slab of peanut butter fudge. So now every time I find a Kilwins, even if it's not with all
You can go down the street in Louisiana and get a Kilwins. You're not going to be able to
there's
get
not a
Mackinac
Kilwins
fudge.
in Mandeville.
There is in New Orleans.
I'm not going. Listen, if I go to New Orleans, I will get shanked. Okay.
Yes,
But you'll get kill wins, and you'll reenact.
I'll get killed for kill wins.
And you'll
Probably by an old lady.
you'll reenact your little thing that you want to do.
But if I don't go to the kill wins,
next time
it won't
I come
happen.
down to Louisiana, I'm like, hey, I want to get an authentic burger from Louisiana, and I want to go to Burger King, because that's pretty much.
It will be a burger from Louisiana. You freaking pain in my
But
ass.
it's still. No.
Also, it's not a tradition if it only happens once.
Yeah.
Whose side are you on?
To be fair, Phil has tried antagonizing
Obviously
elderly
not your
women
side.
at Mackinac Island.
Phil walks into kill wins, and there's a little old lady, and he just pushes her, and he's like, fight me. He's like, I got to make this a tradition.
Where's Josh?
Josh was not involved.
No, Josh was a witness to it, but he's currently.
Well, the first one, but not this year.
Well, there was no little old lady that fought me this year.
Did you look harder?
Because she was at the Mackinac fudge shop.
That's
Probably. You know what?
Mom has abandoned Dad.
But you know what? That's fine. I am going to eat my Kilwins fudge all by my damn self tonight. Y'all eat y'all's Mackinac fudge. We'll all be good.
I mean,
is
that's
better?
fine.
That's, you know what? I'm not mad. Eat your better
You
fudge.
know what? Wait,
I'm
we
eating my
have
fudge.
one
But you
more
don't
day.
know that because you didn't buy Mackinac fudge.
We have one more day. Let's go back to Mackinac Island and get some fudge.
I mean, you guys can go to Mackinac City and get it.
Okay, well, we're going there tomorrow.
Yeah, but still, it's.
We'll get the
We'll
fudge.
chip in and
that
get
what
you
that would just
some
bump me in
just
the
as
ribs?
a.
Okay.
We will force Phil to eat Mackinac fudge,
Yeah.
whether he likes it or not. He'll
guys
like
hold
it.
Time
him
out.
down.
Nick, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but having a 40-inch waistline, nobody has to force me to eat fudge.
That's fair.
It's more like if you ask me to do the truffle shuffle, I will bust out into a Goonies impression for it.
We will
To be fair,
do
that
that
is a
tomorrow, and I
classic.
will take pictures.
We're going to do a Goonies impression at a fudge shop tomorrow, apparently.
Well,
No more old lady. Now we're
But-
gonna truffle shuffle.
I endorse this.
we have
too.
discussed the Goonies meme before, haven't we?
We have,
Yes.
yes.
So yes, for those not aware, it's the meme where Chunk is telling Sloth, "You're gonna come live with me now." And I showed this to Nick, and I was like, "This. I'm pretty sure this is how all of us ended up married.
This is how me and Phil ended up married, at the very least.
This is probably how Andrew's
You're
gonna wind up
come
married."
live with me now.
Although, to be fair, she came and lived with me.
That's correct.
That's what she wants you to believe.
Whose name was on the first mortgage?
It would be yours.
There you go.
So, you know how they say that the husband is the head of the family? What's the neck, Nick?
That would be the wife.
Thank you.
Look, nothing
neck
happens without a good
turns the
woman
head.
behind you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so if it
So the
was
trip.
so the trip has been exactly the same.
A serious amount of bourbon.
Yeah, the trip has been the exact same. I don't want to say the same thing every year because it makes it sound like
About
it's not fun.
37 cigars.
Yeah, not 37. I'm working on that number, but the trip has been what the trip always is.
I mean,
It's-
I brought a pipe.
It's an
Somebody had to class up the joint.
it's an opportunity for like all these people who listen to the podcast to bring their spouses and their kids in an environment
sir.
that is actually welcoming
Oh, absolutely.
and just not talk about preparedness for a weekend, you know?
Oh, no. It is realistically just a family vacation with an extended family that you aren't forced to deal with. You want to be around.
Yeah, I mean, we did get the best compliment from Holly years ago when she said, "Wow, y'all are really normal." And she was mildly surprised when she said that, which I wasn't sure how to take.
fair, a normal American cannot afford a $500 emergency expense.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Nick. Do we have to go there right now?
No, we don't.
We're talking about the trip, Nick.
But
the trip.
But here's the thing, though. Seriously, these are the friends I wish I had in my local area.
Truth.
Seriously, if I could have all of you guys within my neighborhood, I would never move.
We'd all be in prison together.
Well, yes,
Well, he is convincing you to move closer, so he could be in your neighborhood.
it's entirely possible, but it require a career change and my wife abandoning her family, which is never going to happen because, rightly so, she values her family highly.
Oh, I'm ready to move whenever.
So what Gillian's saying is she's going to come north and come snowshoeing with us.
Negative.
No.
Negative.
I heard she's willing to move
No.
whenever.
You heard wrong.
Look,
Listen.
Gillian, there's a beautiful snowshoeing path not 4 miles from our house.
Rachel, I just met you
There's
this
a house
weekend,
for
and
sale in our
I
neighborhood.
like you. You're pretty cool, but there's a negative chance that I'm moving to y'all state.
Well, and it sounds like it's a negative chance for Nick.
How about just in the middle? We just meet in the middle.
So what I keep
What's in the
hearing is
middle?
my wife is
Kentucky.
willing to move to Tennessee.
Kentucky.
Tennessee, Kentucky is a
Kentucky.
vibe.
Deal.
I got no problem.
Andrew, are you
Dude,
moving?
it's on the podcast. It's recorded.
I know she's recorded saying she's willing to move to Tennessee. She told me no a bunch of times.
So all
You
you
screwed
need,
up.
all you needed to do is introduce her to us.
Clearly.
But like I was saying,
And an old fashioned.
But this is the reason I love doing this trip. Like 4 years ago when we first decided to do this, it was this idea that like a bunch of us that were affiliated with the podcast kept meeting, and it was at some kind of preparedness event. And
Like prepper camp.
Yeah, and usually the spouses and the kids, reasonably so, rolled their eyes and said, I am not going to live in a tent with you idiots for a weekend and talk about preparedness stuff.
This time it was cabins on a beautiful lake.
But that's kind of my point. 4 years ago, we decided to do this, and the idea was always, I want an event that people can bring their wives and kids to. I want an event that people say, honey, we're not going to do weird, well, we are going to do weird stuff, but that's later.
We are all a bunch of nerds.
Well,
But-
yes, that's true. There is going to be UV lights on the beach. at
Actually,
dusk.
as soon as we wrap this here in a minute, I got to see if there's satellite pass coming up at 11:30.
Oh yeah, we got to do nerd shit.
But the idea here always was, I want the event that people can bring their spouses and their kids to. I want people to be able to bring their normal family members here to this.
It's a vacation, but it's safer than being at a guard armory.
Yeah. And that was always the idea, was that if we can knit these families together, if we can show the families of those people that are affiliated with the podcast, like, hey, we're normal people. We have normal problems and normal solutions to those problems. Sometimes we have abnormal problems and abnormal solutions, but it was always about trying to bring those families together so that they can meet each other and get to know each other and knit the family around Matter of Fact's podcast together even tighter than it already was. And it seems like every single year we wind up with another pair or another person that shows up and says, wow, y'all are really normal, which
To
is
be
the
fair, I
greatest
was
compliment.
bribed to be here.
How?
You put me on the show.
That wasn't bribery.
That is bribery.
That's not bribery.
How is it not?
But did you die?
But did you die?
Not even like close. I've died way more
Hold
times
still.
than that. Or almost died way more times than that.
No, you were not bribed. You were told, "Hey, dude, we're gonna hang out by a freaking lake. We're gonna stay in cabins.
I do
We're
like
gonna-
lakes.
We're gonna vacation together for a long weekend, or actually, in this case, it was a week.
True.
We're gonna play around with night vision.
Which is sweet.
We're gonna goof around. We're gonna drink ourselves like sots. We're gonna smoke cigars till our lungs revolt.
Also pipes, because I'm classy.
And you see, none of that was bribery. That was just, it's a good time. You should bring your wife.
There was calico beans.
There was, oh god, the calico.
The calico beans.
That's one thing I have to say is that there's no one in this group that cannot bring the filth when it comes to food.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, come on. The sourdough? Seriously.
The
How?
chicken cracklings?
Did you put meth in the sourdough?
Wait,
Chicken cracklings?
are there any more chicken cracklings?
You know, I can neither confirm nor deny.
So what we're saying is we did our standard check, and she claims she has not done a felony in the sourdough.
Yeah, you did check, so. You know,
I have
but-
not gotten the munchies from the sourdough, so I think we're safe.
So far.
Also, I go into anaphylactic shock, so
With the meth?
THC.
Oh, that's fair.
They're good too. I just never had that.
Yeah, me and the gummies. None of that's a vibe. That's like immediate hospital visit.
Have you had the
Yeah, hard pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless somebody's got an EpiPen around, then still no.
I mean, roll the dice if there's 2 EpiPens and some Benadryl.
That is.
No. Zyrtec and Pepsid.
So Mom says we're not allowed to roll the dice with anaphylaxis.
No. Not unless she wants
I mean,
to drive
we have
all the way home
2
by
whole
herself.
medics.
In every EpiPen, there's actually 4 doses of Epi if you know how to take it apart.
Oh, really? All right, hold on a second. Come here. How do you take apart an EpiPen to get 4 doses of Epi out of this shit?
And is it approved?
It is approved. It's a known. I was actually taught this by FBI tactical medicine people, but it's a known thing for wilderness medicine. They teach it. So you have to cut the EpiPen with a knife towards the bottom, and inside there's a syringe, and there's a big spring. You have to be careful as you cut it apart. The big spring will hit you or somebody else. But if you take it apart, there's a small syringe in there, and that syringe is metered dose. It will only give the 0.3 to 0.5 milligrams, whatever dose it's set to give. So, but there's extra doses in there. So you take the syringe out with the needle. If you turn it upside down, draw more air up, and then turn it upside down again, you can give another dose, and it will give the metered dose and stop.
Well, that is a phenomenal piece of advice right there.
Pro tip from Tommy from Georgia.
So
now he may actually be a medical professional, believe it or not.
Slightly,
a little bit. But like I was saying, like to me, when we got the idea, when Andrew and I got this crazy ass idea these years ago, this was what I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be an event where everybody comes out, we all hang out, we get to know each other.
It's a family vacation with way more dogs.
It is. It's a family vacation, not just with more dogs, but like it's
more bourbon.
Yes, but it's a family vacation with people that I actually want to spend time with. Not saying anything negative about my immediate family, but you know, like Gillian always says when we go home from this event, like I'm leaving behind the family I chose. Like this is the family I was born into or the family I married into, but like these are the people that we look forward to for the next 11 months getting to see everybody again. And even when they can't come again, we're still looking forward to the next time we see them, the next time we talk to them. Because I've never had in a moment where anybody that came out to this event gave anybody a heebie-jeebie. Except for
God,
Andrew.
No. Well,
Andrew
that's mostly about the fudge.
Yeah, Andrew judges me about the fudge, but that's all right. I forgive him.
It's okay. Andrew's wrong about caliber.
Do tell.
Andrew didn't even hear that.
He's right behind you.
He's like
Andrew,
looking at you.
6.5 or 300 Win Mag. 6.5. Wrong. 300 Win Mag because you can load it with M2 APs.
That's stupid.
You're wrong. Because it makes a 300 vibe check.
Okay.
Cruises through 2 level 4 plates.
Real question. 6.5 or 308?
Ooh, 6.5 versus 308.
6.5.
Nope. 308.
308 does win.
308 under 500 yards. I've done the ballistic math. Under 500 yards, every single loading of 308 Winchester puts more energy on target out to 500 yards. At that point, the 308 slows down enough, the 6.5 maintains enough velocity, and 6.5 puts more energy on target.
In which case, you go from a 308 to a 300, and you're winning all the way.
I mean, that's kind of hard to argue with. Although...
Or you buy a 338, and range is irrelevant.
You know what? 460 Weatherby. Screw it.
Okay, yep. 460 Weatherby. Yep, I'll allow it. Phil, do you want one?
That's not a fair question because I want everything.
Phil, I know a widow that has a 460 Weatherby Magnum Mark V in stock in her husband's safe. He has been dead for at least 10 years.
Nick, you do realize that even if I could buy the rifle, I cannot
so
afford
much
the
money
reloading
for
components.
you. Yes, you can. It's fine. It'll be fine. Your wife won't mind. She
Wait,
won't notice.
no. Time out. Hard stop. You have already bullied me into buying a Beretta.
Correct. And was I wrong? Phil, was I wrong?
That's not the point. The
No,
point is,
was I wrong?
the point is, you can't bully me into buying a rifle and a Beretta before I manage to bully you
I
into
can
buying
bully
night
you
vision.
into all kinds of things. I am
was
very
gonna
persistent.
say, you're bullying us into buying night vision.
No. It's not bullying.
He's enticing you with
I'm
science.
enticing you with the fact that you could go stargazing.
It's true. She did miss out on a very nice meteor shower because of our lack of night vision.
Tonight, sundown. Come on.
It is cloudy.
I won't even make you wear the helmet. I mean, I might make you wear the helmet for a picture, but
She needs to wear the helmet for the
you need.
picture.
Okay, you have to wear the helmet now.
It is now required.
It is now required.
Thanks, Nick.
But
You're welcome.
I will blur your face out so you can be.
We're not
going
going to blur her face.
And this is just a taste of what you get when everybody comes together.
Look, you can't be married to one of the hosts without you being on the record.
To be fair, he has podcasts under his full Christian name.
That's true because, fuck it, I do what I want.
He does. He does do what he wants.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll do an unblurred picture for the patrons and a blurred picture for social media.
I will probably put the unblurred picture on my social media for her to be pressured by her parents to get it because her dad is just as nerdy as I am, and he will want night vision goggles.
It sounds like they've been bought already.
They have not been bought already because I am a conscientious husband. We discuss our financial
He doesn't want to sleep on the couch.
Look, I paid for the cabin.
Look,
But no.
he's had to sleep on the couch because he got the flu.
Yes.
Okay, but how long do you have to sleep on the couch for the flu?
3 days.
Okay, how long would you sleep on the couch if you spent 3 G's?
Well, it'd actually be more like 4 because I was going to buy the better white phosphorus ones.
I mean, if you're going that far, you might as well go all the way.
Right, if you're sleeping on the couch, you might as well buy the better goggles.
Here's the thing, I can't make him sleep on the couch because I can't lift him.
That's
So-
true. I am bigger and far stronger.
Shoot, so you have to sleep on the couch? I think you lose here if you get mad.
No, actually, no, because I'll just pick her up and put her
Wait,
not on the couch.
Whoa. Real talk. Who has the car keys?
Both of us. We both have the car keys.
See, that's the problem. We brought both sets of keys because, well, we're preppers. Why would you
Okay.
not have backup keys?
So if you anger her enough that she drives back to Illinois by herself, then I get to adopt you.
That is accurate. I would be forced to go to Louisiana.
And then you would have to live in Louisiana where
And
there's
I
the
would
mosquitoes.
have to buy night vision goggles. Yeah.
And that you'd have to deal with the mosquitoes the size of chickens and the 100-degree temperatures and the 120% relative
At
humidity.
least until I could buy a piece of shit 90s Civic.
Here's the thing, I would miss him too much. I would probably drive down to Louisiana and pick him up.
Dude, we just figured out the cheat code.
See, that means the dog would be upset about me not being at home. So clearly what I need to do is just stay up here an extra 2 days and buy night vision goggles.
They say marriage is all about compromise. So
It is.
you
The
know,
compromise is monos instead of panos.
The problem is the money.
Well, always.
Well, you just make more. That's
Well,
really...
see, that's the thing about being an adult. Sometimes you have to make these compromises. And me and Phil have talked about this a number of
Yes.
times on the podcast. Like, look, me and Phil, we both bought a Beretta 300 Ultimate Patrol.
Yep.
Well, okay, I bought a 300, not an Ultimate Patrol, because I can't have a stupid 7-round tube.
Yes, because your state doesn't believe in fun.
J.B. Pritzker fears harpoons as a whale. The trouble is, Illinois thinks that fun is bad. Well, you know what? Fair enough. Fun, bad, whatever. JB, buddy, treadmills are not that expensive. But here's the thing. An M4, very expensive. A 1301, very expensive. A Beretta 300 Patrol, plus a class, plus 2 cases of ammunition is still cheaper than a 1301. Now, Phil, have you been able to overrun your 300?
Never.
I have tried. I've tried my damnedest, and I like shooting fast. I really like shooting fast. I've gotten down to 0.2 of a second split times with the 12 gauge in double lock. Now, I have not tried it with slugs, which we're going to get there because I hate myself.
Yes.
But, all right. So, you know what? You need a shotgun. Do you buy the shotgun, or do you buy the shotgun, a class, and 2 cases? Kyle?
You start off with all the gear, and then you work your way up.
All right. So, 1301 or 300, what do you think? So the difference is $800, $700-800, or like $1,400.
You get the cheap one, and you train with it.
Exactly my point. So, I convinced Phil through a small amount of bullying.
I was bullied.
He was bullied.
I was bullied relentlessly.
It was not just me. It was some other people as well.
I was bullied by a whole team of bullies.
At least 3 to 5 people. 3 to 5? Fair?
Bruh, I've had less lopsided odds in prison, for God's sakes. I mean, y'all were merciless.
That's fair. Well, you didn't own a shotgun at all.
And?
All right. A shotgun can hunt everything on wing, hoof, or sneakers on this continent. Hell, you can probably hunt an elephant with enough slugs.
I'm wondering if now's the appropriate time to remind you that I've had training on how to build IEDs.
Well, sure. I mean, you can hunt birds with an IED, but how do you cook it?
With the IED.
It's already cooked.
Well, I don't know about that.
It's friggin' down, cooked, and cleaned all in one shot. Just depends on your powder charge.
But is it edible?
That's a matter of opinion.
Right, but you know, the prepper community for a lot of years has agreed that, hands down the most useful firearm. If you only use one, if you
I'm gonna
only buy
I'm gonna
one,
piss him off so bad when I retort to this. Go ahead.
is an AR.
Nope.
What is it?
22.
Disagree. 22s are shit with people.
Really?
They kill more people just because there's more 22s.
But doesn't that kind of prove the point that they are plenty lethal
Well, they're
enough?
plenty lethal if you shoot 1,000 people with them and 2 of them die.
Have there ever been any statistics to consider the number of people shot with a 22 versus killed with a 22?
No, because most people shot with the 22 just fuck right off. My grandpa used to have 22 wars with his buddies back in the day.
What about
That was
damn
22
wise and
short, though.
statistics?
Damn wise and statistics for sure.
And they're both staring at a statistician while they say this.
And I'm guessing it also bounced around the skull when you.
Sometimes it does. Only if you're a KGB operative though.
Oh.
You see, the trick is Russian 22. It's the 22R.
Oh, so that spins right, not left.
Exactly.
Oh,
Okay, so the AR, most useful firearm in the prepper community.
And the shotgun's number 2. Phil, tell me a situation a shotgun don't win. Inside of a normal self-defense situation.
See, he's got to put those. He knows me well enough to know he's got to put those.
Yeah,
limiting
because a
factors on.
338 Lapua wins at 1,900 yards. Yeah, I get it.
I understand where you're coming from, and I'll concede. However, it is also worth pointing out that I still wholeheartedly believe that if you can only own one firearm, it should be a double stack 9mm.
Okay, I'll allow that because of concealed carry.
Even if it's not concealed carry, the fact of the matter is that
It can be on your body 100% of the time.
and within the military, and again, that's not the perfect.
No, it's
That's not the
but
perfect
still,
situation.
it's a good barometric.
But within the military, the idea is always that most people are just issued a rifle.
Correct.
Everyone's expected to be a rifleman. But in the instances where you cannot have a rifle, like if you're
going to have a pistol.
you're going to have a pistol, and the pistol is to fight your way to a larger weapons, more capable
Correct.
weapon system. So it's all about this idea that, like, me as a civilian, if I were walking through the grocery store with an AR on my back or a shotgun, somebody would probably call St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Department.
Look, trench coats have existed for a very long time.
If I were walking through a grocery store in a trench coat in the summer in Louisiana, I would definitely get the cops called on.
Just another argument not to live in Louisiana.
Or not to wear the trench coat and carry a 9mm under my shirt. And nobody knows.
I have seen a guy crotch a full AR.
Was it you?
No. I wear not nearly as tight to pants as that man did. It was shockingly tight pants that was crotching that AR. But the thing of it is yes, you can argue all the time is the gun you have is better than the gun you don't have.
10 times out of 10.
I will never dispute that. But any shotgun beats almost any rifle and almost any pistol in typical defensive ranges.
If you're allowing that typical defensive range, it's like
Sure.
15 yards and in.
Right, but no. Let's even argue 25 and in.
Drop
25
a
and in
1
with
ounce
slugs.
slug on them.
Exactly. I mean, you're looking at between, okay, let's say without the side saddle, you're looking at half a pound of hate, no matter what load you're working with. Whether you're looking at buck, whether you're looking at slugs, even in a restrictive state like mine, you're looking at half a pound of hate. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay. How much weight a 9mm in a double stack?
Haven't honestly measured it.
So you've got, say, a 15 round is typical, right?
Yeah.
147 grain. How many grains in a pound? 3,000.
I've drank way too much whiskey to freaking remember that off the top of my
3,600
head.
grains in a pound, if memory serves. Although I have had 4 bourbons,
No, that's not right.
4 double bourbons, and some moonshine cherries.
Pretty sure you said almost triples, so.
Yeah, well, 7 bourbons and some moonshine cherries.
I really should know this off the top of my head being a reloader,
He
but
should.
I'm drawing a total complete
I think
blank.
it's 3,600 grains to the pound. See, this is the lovely thing about them internets.
7,000.
Oh, 7,000. So I'm even better off. All right, 147 grains times 15. plus 1. 147 grain times 16.
Okay, if I can't remember how many grains are in a pound, I definitely can't do that math in my head
You've got
right
a
now.
phone, 147 grains times 16 rounds, so plus 1 in the chamber and a 15-round magazine.
2352.
Okay, divided by grains in a pound. How many pounds? 0.25?
0.336.
0.336. Okay, that is less than half a pound.
No,
Shotgun throws a lot more hate.
I will agree with that, and I will agree that a shotgun's a very flexible arm. I hear you. That's why I went ahead and bought one.
Bullying works.
So I just glanced at his wife, and she gave me the most vigorous hard no I've ever seen in my life.
She's really trying not to let me buy night vision.
But after listen, two bathrooms in the kitchen, right?
And a master and a garage.
But whoa, one thing at a time.
Break them up.
But let's say he does the 2 bathrooms really, really good. Then we let him spring for the night vision, and then he does the kitchen.
As long as he saves for the night vision.
Oh,
well, that's guaranteed.
If he puts the night vision on credit, I will personally bitch him out.
Phil will fly up in the snow and kick my ass if I put it on credit.
So, in the name of full disclosure,
So then we're putting on the credit card, right?
no,
Oh, God,
no,
absolutely not.
Listen,
30% isn't that bad.
Christ, no. No, fucking no. My first house loan wasn't even 6%.
If you want to have a panic attack, just start talking about it.
No,
So-
God, no. We are not Caleb Hammer. We're not doing that here.
obviously, Kyle and Vicky have not listened to the financial preparedness episode where I literally. I
Phil
literally
had a panic attack over the kind of interest rates people had on car loans.
Yeah, I thought I knew what the current interest rates were, and then Nick sent me into a full-blown spiral over how bad things really were.
Yeah, apparently there are some people that are above 30% for a car loan. Now, look, hey, everybody starts in a place.
And are 150% equity to value.
Also accurate, yes.
See, for all the bad choices out there that you question, you realize that some people have no idea what they're doing as they walk through life.
Oh, absolutely. and to be fair, though, some people have no clue what they're walking through in life, but we all have YouTube University. We all have Google.
And friends who are financial nerds.
Right. So, yeah, don't call me. Call Phil. He's the financial nerd. I'm the machinist. So if you've got a problem, Kyle, call me. I will probably tell you, no, it's fucked, bud. Send it.
And I will tell you that if you put anything that is less than a life or death emergency on a credit card with 30% interest and you carry that balance a single month, I hope you have nightmares about my voice for the rest of your life.
Well, you really should, because it doesn't do you any good.
I only said put it on the credit card, Phil, because I wanted to see you come to Illinois in the snow.
I'm gonna have to turn this mic off because she's on word rations.
So
now.
I may have to do that just to get Phil to come experience multiple feet of snow.
Snowshoeing is fun.
Nick,
Phil on snowshoes.
have you ever been buried in the snow before?
Yes.
Okay, it's not worth the hell that I would bring if you did that kind of financial damage to yourself.
I did so for Boy Scouts, bud, when I was like 12.
Okay, it is not worth the crap that pretty little lady will bring into your life if you put $3,000 on a credit card with 30% interest.
To be fair, the monocle I was looking at was $4,200.
Holy, we're gonna discuss specs as soon as we wrap this.
Well, they were really high-end white phosphorus too.
I've got a really high-end white phosphorus that didn't cost $4,200.
Yes, inflation is a thing, Phil. Yeah, tell me about it. I've been watching the prices on the same specs, and they've gone up about $1,000.
So it's better to buy now on the credit card.
No, fuck, Jesus Christ, man.
Only if Phil is coming to see the snow in Illinois.
No.
No, definitely don't do that to Phil.
Anyway, I don't know how we wound up here. I was trying to walk the show out, and then we started talking about credit cards and all this shit that makes me crazy.
I blame this really excellent double oak bourbon that Phil has not tried.
I tried it last night.
Try it again.
I need to be semi-coherent.
No, you just need to hit stop on the recording.
Okay, so
Oh, look, peer pressure wins again.
as we start to walk this one out, I'm pouring a little bit of this double oak bourbon, and then
From not our sponsor.
from not our sponsor, but he should be our sponsor.
Damn straight they should.
And
Drink enough of it.
after this, I might have to go get the Knob Creek smoked maple out.
Okay, that is a fair analogy.
It's been in the freezer for 2 days.
Why would you freeze it?
It's not frozen, it's just cold.
Why would you make it cold?
Because I like cold things.
Then why do you live in the South?
Because if I lived in a place where it was cold, I would only want hot things.
No, man. Bourbon, room temperature.
Oh, I gotta go with the brandy, don't you know?
Oh, God. Blackberry brandy?
Oh, no, I go with Barron's.
Okay, Barron's on the ice, I'll allow. Only for perch.
I do Barron's neat.
Barron's neat for perch, I'll allow.
Alrighty there.
Okay, I don't know how something manages to be tasty and gasoline at the exact same time.
Oh, look, gasoline is delicious.
I'm starting to wonder if this is what was giving me the acid reflux last night.
It probably might have been.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this episode before the inebriation fully kicks in, because based on the taste of that, I got about 5 minutes before I start stumbling.
It is heavy octane.
It's definitely rocket fuel.
It's cask strength.
So I'm anticipating
a hangover.
No, I don't get another discussion. But I've only had one hangover my entire life.
Only one? We can fix that.
No.
I have another bottle in the cabinet.
Stop. Rachel, make him stop, please.
She can't.
I'm sure she can. Every wife knows how to shut up a husband on command. Every wife in training knows how to shut her husband up on command.
You just know.
That is accurate.
But really the plug is for all the guys out there, well worth supporting the show and getting your significant other, if you have them, to come along for this kind of camping trip, just for the community.
Oh, it's fantastic
for all
fun.
of this.
It's great.
As the newbies coming in, that's been the coolest thing. I mean, you walk up to a group of people, you don't know how it's going to go. You don't know if it's going to be really awkward and everybody hates that. You walk in and it's just like Phil said, like chosen family. Like you've known each other forever.
Could not agree more.
Yeah, and we're probably going to do this again tomorrow.
Yeah, probably. You guys are here tomorrow, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I have more bourbon.
Ooh, you can keep me talking with that.
That's
Yeah,
good.
we're losing about half our families tomorrow. They got to start heading back to reality, which sucks.
Yep.
But tomorrow, we're probably going to do this again tomorrow evening, and I wish I could tell you it's not going to be a shit show. It usually is.
Oh, that's fine.
But it's an entertaining shit show, if nothing else.
It's a good fun.
Yeah. So we haven't made like 100% cast iron decision yet on next year, but I hear Kentucky might be in the running.
It's a strong contender, possibly in a patron's house. Come and see if
Well,
you can make him regret that.
That might be the following year, because those patrons are in Georgia.
Oh,
But
all right, I
but we
misremembered.
do have a patron who shall remain nameless until he decides to out himself, who does live in Kentucky, unless he lives in another state. I shouldn't have these conversations when I've had this much bourbon. But
we can find more bourbon.
yeah, but I'm pretty sure we have a patron in Kentucky. That might be where this is going to happen next year. So if that sounds like a vibe, you should probably keep tuning in and keep your ears open. And we'll probably do this again tomorrow. And I don't know, are we going to have a topic for tomorrow, or are we just going to bullcrap?
Well,
like usual?
I mean, it entirely depends on the weather.
Ooh, that's a good point. Because if the weather
could
turns
be-
to crap, we might be doing this in my cabin.
It could be porch cast, or it could be beachside cast. In which case, beachside cast is mostly bourbon fueled. Porch cast will be bourbon fueled, but slightly more contained. Mostly on square footage.
If we do wind up doing this on a porch or in a cabin, I could probably hook up the video.
Oh yeah, we might be able to do the video. On
But
the
my
cabin.
little webcam is not going to tolerate this level of light at all.
Oh
so,
God, no.
Yeah,
We'll see what happens.
we'll see. But anyway,
Fun either way.
Matter of Fact's podcast going out. Phil's here. Nick's here. Andrew
is over there, getting
Andrew-
up out of a chair.
Andrew's over there. He's not dead and he hasn't been fired. He's still hanging around.
We do not have him locked up in the basement.
So, to be honest, I've continued to tell Andrew that, the co-host seat is his at the drop of a hat, and he has assured me that he will pop his head in from time to time.
I'll see you guys in another 6 months.
I disallow that.
If
3
y'all-
months max.
If y'all peer pressure him half as much as you did me about the frickin' shotgun, he'll show back up before it's been 6 months.
Just tag him in the Patreon chat every other message.
Repeatedly. Constantly.
I already deleted it, so.
No, you did not. I've seen you checking it.
No.
Oh, there it goes.
Oh, you deleted it now.
No.
You bastard.
Anyway, for a fee, I could release his home address, and you could just send snail mail like the old days.
That's true. We could send him telegrams.
Send a
Actually-
local postcard.
Actually,
go.
I'm pretty sure your mom and dad like me, so I could probably get your real, honest-to-God cell phone number out of them,
Probably not.
and they might rat you out.
Probably not.
To be fair, his mom likes Phil more.
Probably.
To be fair, my mom likes most people more than me, so that there might be a
Well, yeah, that's how
relationship
how it goes. My mom likes my wife more than me. Yeah, clearly.
Clearly.
Yeah, that's how it works. And your mother should like your wife more than you.
Well,
Kyle,
yes,
how's that
because-
working out? Victoria? How's that working out?
Well, I make sourdough, and I think I had her at that.
I mean, she had all the rest of us at that. That shit was delicious.
I'm pretty sure your mom, when she met me, she said, hang on to her. Don't let her get away.
Okay, Kyle.
Also, there was a how'd you get that? That one.
You see, Kyle, that was the same thing my grandma said to me about my wife. So you're set.
Hot dog.
There you go.
Yep. I'm going to punt this one out the door and then tell everybody what my in-laws said about me, because it is not fit for public consumption. All right. Matter of Fact's going out the door. This is the 2025 Matter of Fact Summer Camp on the side of... Is the town of Carp Lake, but that is Paradise Lake.
Well,
over
it
there.
was Carp Lake. It is now Paradise Lake. They have renamed it.
That's...
Is there a casino?
Not yet.
Paradise?
We could
Oh,
pair up
Jesus
dice.
Christ.
Oh, on that.
The man needs children.
Please give him a child tomorrow.
No,
It takes 9 months,
got-
man.
Well, and you kind of
Then you better get started quick.
Well, wedding's in October, so anytime after that.
There you go. That's fair. I'll allow it.
That's fair. All right, Matter of Fact's going out the door. Bourbon to drink, cigars to smoke, lies to tell, and possibly more dad jokes. And we'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Well, it'll be tomorrow for us, not
Tomorrow
for y'all.
for us, next week for you. Good night,
Yep.
everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.